Hey everyone, I'm writing this because I still can't believe what happened to me and my neighbor last year. It's been haunting me ever since, and I feel like I need to share it to warn others. This is the story of how I discovered my neighbor was a monster, and how I couldn't save the woman he became obsessed with. For the sake of privacy, I'm changing some names and locations, but everything else is exactly how it happened. I live in a quiet neighborhood in a small town in California. It's the kind of place where you know your neighbors and everyone waves when they see you. I've lived here for about 5 years, and it's always felt safe until recently. Next door to me lived a woman named Sarah. She moved in about a year after I did. Sarah was in her early 30s, very friendly, and always willing to help out. She had this energy about her that just made you feel welcome. Everyone in the neighborhood liked her, including me. Then there was Jake. He moved in a few months after Sarah, in the house on the other side of mine. Jake was different. At first, he seemed like a nice enough guy, but there was something off about him. He was quiet, kept to himself, and didn't really make an effort to get to know anyone. But in a neighborhood like ours, that wasn't necessarily a red flag. The first time I noticed something strange was last summer. I was out mowing my lawn when I saw Jake standing in his front yard, just staring at Sarah's house. I thought it was weird, but I brushed it off. Maybe he was just lost in thought. Over the next few months, I started noticing Jake watching Sarah more often. He would stand by his window, peeking through the curtains whenever she was outside. At first, I thought maybe he had a crush on her, but it started to feel more sinister than that. One night, I was taking out the trash when I saw Jake sneaking around Sarah's backyard. He was crouched down, looking through her windows. I was freaked out, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I decided to talk to Sarah about it the next day. The next morning, I went over to Sarah's house. She greeted me with her usual warm smile, and we chatted for a bit before I brought up what I saw. "Hey, Sarah, I need to tell you something. Last night I saw Jake in your backyard. He was looking through your windows," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. Sarah's face went pale. "Are you serious? That's so creepy. I've noticed him watching me a few times, but I didn't think much of it." We decided to keep an eye on Jake and document anything strange. If it continued, we agreed she should go to the police. A few weeks went by, and things seemed to settle down. Jake wasn't lurking around as much, and I started to think maybe we overreacted. But then, things took a dark turn. One night, I woke up to the sound of glass breaking. I looked out my window and saw Jake climbing into Sarah's house through a broken window. My heart raced as I grabbed my phone and called 911. I rushed outside, but by the time I got there, it was too late. The police arrived quickly and stormed Sarah's house. They found her in her bedroom, dead. She had been stabbed multiple times. Jake was nowhere to be found. The police searched the neighborhood and found Jake hiding in the bushes in his backyard. He had blood on his hands and a crazed look in his eyes. They arrested him on the spot. The days following Sarah's murder were a blur. The neighborhood was in shock. No one could believe that Jake, the quiet guy who kept to himself, was capable of such a heinous act. The police investigation revealed that Jake had become obsessed with Sarah. He had been stalking her for months, taking pictures of her, and even stealing her mail. They found a shrine dedicated to her in his basement, filled with photos and personal items he had taken from her house. I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt. I kept thinking that if I had done something sooner, maybe Sarah would still be alive. I replayed the night of the murder over and over in my head, wondering if there was anything I could have done differently. It's been a year since Sarah was killed. Jake was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. The neighborhood has never been the same. The sense of safety we once had is gone, replaced by a constant feeling of unease. I still think about Sarah every day. She was a kind, beautiful person who didn't deserve what happened to her. I share this story not to scare you, but to remind you to trust your instincts and speak up if you notice something off. You never know, it might just save someone's life.